Hello, and welcome to this digital learning conversation between a group of our Year 6 learners and Miss Goddard, our Year 6 teacher. Today's conversation will focus on how the Year 6 class have used sway and forms to celebrate their learning quest. Whilst learning remotely, Year 6 collaborated to amalgamate all their learning around crime and punishment through the ages. With the specific area in mind, the children researched and shared their information, adding to and developing a whole class sway. One group of learners collaborated to create a crime and punishment forms quiz using the information from their previous learning and the crime and punishment sway. They embedded this form into the sway for their peers and families to be able to have a go at.
Morning, Year 6. Here to chat today then about our crime and punishment sway. So we worked, didn't we, in our learning quest on creating our crime and punishment sway, pulling everything together that we've been up to. So talk to me a little bit about it then. What did you learn in the process of doing that? Tom, what did you learn?
Well, I learnt about the different facts and elements of the crime and punishment quest and how we got to actually.
Okay, so all the learning that we'd done previously and different stuff that you'd built on with that. What was your topic? Can you remind us what your part of the crime and punishment sway was?
With Dick Turp and the Highwayman.
Ah, so you were doing some more research into the Highwayman. Nice. What else did you learn? Emma, what else did you learn?
When making the crime and punishment sway, it was interesting because we put some questions which we already knew the answer to from previous learning, but it was interesting whilst we were looking up questions and looking up the answers, we were also learning something new.
So you weren't just adding information to the sway. What were you three doing? What was your part in the sway? Because Tom was adding his information, he was researching and adding information, but what was your part, Jilly?
So we did a quiz and then embedded it into the form. So the quiz was from the entire sway and it had different questions from all of the different paragraphs that all of the children had put in. So it was almost a roundup of everything to see how much you'd learn.
Nice. So you basically a roundup, using all the information, pulling that together to create those questions. Imi, do you want to expand on that?
Yeah, and also we just sort of had to learn how to use sway because I don't think we'd ever really done it before and it's the first time.
Yeah, so you were having to navigate the sway, go through it, look at all the different sections and then pull that information together. Nice. And what did you then have the chance to do once you'd sort of shared your form with other people? What did you learn from the kind of sharing of your form with other people? Jilly?
Well, it was quite fun to look at like the overview because they had like these stats of what questions people got wrong, who got them wrong, who got them right, the general percentage of people who did well or didn't do so well.
So you could reflect on the maths at the end then as well. Emma, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, it was interesting because if people got a question wrong, then it's either they possibly didn't know the answer or maybe the question wasn't clear enough, so we could if we do it another time, then the next time we can make sure that all the questions are clear for everyone to understand.
Yeah, lovely. So a good tool there, isn't there? A bit of reflection on what we did and how we can improve next time. Tom, from the other side then, how was the form and filling out the form? How did that make the sway more interesting perhaps?
So it was very clear to understand.
Yeah.
And the answers were quite easy to get because you had an option, you just had to click one. And it's just the format was nice and laid out, and they also added pictures to make it better to understand what was going on.
Lovely. So lots of putting together information from all of you, a bit of research, some nice collaboration. Talk to me about the skills then, because Imi, you said at the start we hadn't used Sway before. This was new. So what kind of skills did you learn from this process? Tom, what skills did you learn from the process?
Well, I never knew Sway existed.
You never knew Sway existed. So what new skills did you learn then from not knowing it existed?
That you can have 12 people edit the thing at once.
Yeah.
You can move stuff around, and you can embed stuff, and you can add sections and move them.
Yeah, nice. Do you want to add to that, Jilly?
Yeah, so when we completed the form, we did struggle a bit to get the form into the actual Sway, and so that was quite a good learning curve, because we would now know if we did this in the future that we would be able to do it on our own, so we could get it done quicker.
Yeah, lovely. So you work together to sort of get through those problems to be able to do that. What about sort of the design of Sway? Did Sway teach you anything about design, or did it help with anything with designing skills, or make anything easier even? Emma, what do you reckon?
It made it a lot easier, because mainly just if you wanted a certain background for your quiz or form, then you could just click on it, search up a picture, and then it would just embed it for you. And it's very simple to do it, and it's not very hard to anyone who will do it or does a form will understand it straight away. Because
yeah, really quite straightforward, isn't it? Makes it quite easy, and that design element of Sway is really, really good. What about then your kind of skills as people? What about your skills as people? Did you build any skills that perhaps you might be able to apply to different situations? Girls, I'm thinking particularly possibly with you, because I know you work together. Imi, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I was thinking teamwork, because it's just a life skill. You need to know how to work with other people and that.
Yeah, and actually to be able to collaborate and build those relationships and have those conversations was really important. So what was exciting about our class Sway then? Because I know we had lots of chats about it, and it got quite a lot of press and quite a lot of views, didn't it, after we shared it? So what was exciting about our Sway? Let's start. Go on, Emma, you start this time.
It was exciting because it was just nice, because my parents, when my parents did it, they were just zooming through it and they didn't ask for help, and it was just exciting to see that they were having no problems and that they were enjoying it.
Lovely. So it went without a hitch, and they enjoyed being able to read it and share the information. Tom, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, and it was also nice to see what other people had written and how they had presented theirs, and how they'd used all the different techniques on Sway.
Yeah, lovely. So we could see different ways people had used stacks, and people had put their images and how they'd shared their information. Imi?
And I also thought it was exciting just looking at what other people had sort of written about their area in crime and punishment.
Yeah, so actually you learned something new at the same time. Some of the different areas that perhaps you had less information on, you could learn from. Go on then, Jilly, finish off for us.
And it was quite nice just to see the whole of it done with everybody's parts, and you thought that a year 6 class did it, and I thought it looked quite professional.
I think it looked quite professional as well. So final question then, do you think you'd use Sway in the future, and how might you use it? I can see Jilly's nodding. How might you use Sway in the future? Do you think you'd use it in the future? Go on, Em.
Well, I think I probably would use it in the future if I have this maybe for a hobby or something you want, and you're presenting it to other people. Using a form is or a Sway is a very helpful way to get through to people and make sure they understand.
Yeah, so I think we've learnt a new skill there that we can share, and our nice new presenting tool that we can use hopefully when we're back in school again, but actually something that you've got for life, guys. So thank you very much for this conversation. It's been really useful chatting to you back through our learning, guys.
This was a digital learning conversation between learners and staff at Cornerstone C of E Primary in Hampshire in the UK. To find out more about how we are using digital technology to enhance teaching and learning at our school, please get in contact with us.